and welcome. My name is Michelle. I am your emotional resilience coach, and it is fantastic to have you here with me today. What I'm going to talk to you about today is getting comfortable with negative emotions. If this is something that you struggle with, if this is something that you fight with yourself about and you really beat up on yourself and you tell yourself that you're wrong if you're having a bad day, that you should be doing better, stick around. I have some alternative thoughts. What I like to do with this page is I like to give you tools, thoughts, ways, resources to better take control of your life, to no longer be a victim in your own circumstances, to stand in your power and no longer have life sweep you along, to learn to act and not be acted upon. Alright, negative emotions. In my industry, what happens so often is I meet people, I talk to people, be it colleagues, be it clients, and when it comes to negative emotions, there still seems to be this stigma, right? And that is because our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And this is what we do in life. This is why we show up the way we do in life. This is why we are who we are, is because we're looking to feel safe, we're looking to feel loved, we're looking to feel esteemed. Our brains are always searching for these things, and if there's a negative emotion, our brains kind of trigger warning bells, red flags, danger, danger, fear, protect yourself. We kind of go into hyperdrive. Sometimes we fall into our triggers. Please do go and look at my videos on triggers. We show up in ways to ultimately protect ourselves. And what we do so often is we miss the opportunity to learn. We miss the opportunity to grow. We miss the opportunity to just really take an experience, a negative experience, and find the good in it. There is always good. As an example, we've just come through 2020 and we've come through quite a heavy pandemic which has affected the world tremendously. And I am not for 1 second minimizing what has happened. I am not minimizing the pain, the trauma, the loss, the grief that has had to occur because of 2020. But what our brains like to do is what we focus on grows, all right? And I think it's absolutely necessary to learn to sit with those negative emotions. What is the lesson that I need to learn here? Where do I need to grow? What has come for me out of this? Is there a greater capacity for me to love or to be compassionate or to be empathetic? Or what goodness has come from this experience that we've all just gone through? And this is something that we get to ask for ourselves. And I think the thing is with negative emotions, something I have seen and witnessed in my own life, and I've seen and witnessed in lives of my clients, is that when you get comfortable with negative emotions, there is very little that you can't do, that you can't achieve. Negative emotions, when it comes, what we do is we resist them, right? That is our automatic knee-jerk response, is we want to resist this negative emotion. We don't want to have to feel this. We don't want to have to sit with this. We don't want to have to deal with it. And so we have a lot of pushback against this negative emotion because it's not comfortable. It's not what we want to do. It's not what we want to experience. But that is where the growth is. The growth, unfortunately, is learning to sit with and work through that negative emotion. Be open to the process. Be open to the fear. What is it that I am afraid of? That's a really beautiful time to ask yourself these questions. What am I avoiding? What am I not wanting to deal with? What am I trying to, prevent from happening, to just not have to live through or go through? What is it that is going on here that I am trying to hide from? All right. And when we start pulling those apart and we look at the nitty-gritty of it, invariably it has to do with self-protection. So getting comfortable with negative emotion gives you momentum. Enough momentum to make necessary changes in your life, to make those steps, to find courage. Courage is not necessary if there isn't any fear. We need to see and acknowledge and be comfortable with the fear to stand in our courage. and stand in our power. So we have to acknowledge, we live in a dual world. There is an opposition in all things. And negativity, bad emotions, if you want to call it, whatever it is, those are so necessary for our growth and our well-being. And the beauty of learning to sit with those emotions and learning to process those emotions and learning to get through those emotions is by not ignoring them, you get to feel them more intensely. And I know you're probably wanting to go, skip, move along now. What is this crazy woman talking about? What that means is that when we really get through the nitty-gritty of it and we get to feel the emotions for what they are, we also get to feel the good emotions really intensely. If you are used to numbing your emotions, hiding from your emotions, not feeling your emotions, kind of living in a very kind of plane where things are fine and sometimes you feel good and sometimes you feel bad and for the most part you really don't feel anything. That's fine, that's okay, it's part of the journey, it's part of the process, but learning to lean into the emotions opens up a world of joy and beauty and wonder and excitement that you would not normally experience. The negative emotions are there to remind us of the joy and the excitement and the lightness and the wonder of the positive emotions. So what we want to do is we just want to be aware of these negative emotions. We want to just get the lesson. We want to allow ourselves to open ourselves up enough to hold space enough for the emotions, just for the lesson to be learned, just for the experience to be had, just for the knowledge to come on what we do want to believe, what we do want to think, how we do want to go forward, the changes we do want to make in our lives that will take us to greater lengths. We want to just stay there long enough, all right? We've got to be careful because what can often happen is negative emotions as well as positive emotions build momentum. And what I mean by that is if we stay there too long, if we sit in the pool too long, we do end up in a place where we wallow, we have a lot of self-pity, we feel very woe is me. And I like to give myself and my clients a limit. Allow yourself to just a little bit of time be in that space, to not stay there, to not dwell there, because when we stay in the place of wallowing and self-pity, what happens is that we are drawing more of those negative emotions. Our brain is searching for more reasons why we should stay in self-pity, why we should wallow. And we end up getting a very jaded, very negative, very cynical view of the world. So, as much as negative emotions are good and positive, and if you can get comfortable with them, you can really propel yourself in life and go forward. You also don't want to stay there and wallow. It is about finding a balance. Allow yourself enough space just for the lesson and then move on. So, you decide for yourself. Am I going to take a day? Am I going to take 2 days? How long am I going to stay in this space and then work my way out of it to the more positive, lighter emotions? We don't want to do that on a long-term basis because that will make us cynical, jaded, depressed. We're not going to see the good, the beauty, and the wonder in life, and there is really so much of that to offer. So let me know your thoughts. Come over to Emotional Resilience Coach. Send me a direct message there if you're feeling a little more shy, a little more quiet. If not, I always love to hear from you. Tell me how you feel about negative emotions. Is it something that you resist and push away, or is it something that you are learning to get comfortable with, sit with, make friends with as such, knowing that they're there just to teach you? Are you able to lean into those emotions and just really fully experience the beauty, the wonder, and just the joy that life does have to offer? Let me know.